Faith is an impossibility. Higher the risk, greater the faith, observes Soren Kierkegaard. May the peace and joy of Christ be with you today. Today's Gospel, which is taken from St. Mark chapter 2, verses from 1 to 12, as a wonderful miracle, Jesus healing the paralytic who was brought to him by his friends. And it invites us to learn a lesson of faith, a faith that takes risk. Faith that takes risk to overcome any challenge, big or small. Believing itself is a risk because we believe in what we cannot see. True faith always takes risk. And that's why most often we try to settle ourselves with a peripheral way of living our faith. Well-directed, well-calculated, well-stipulated faith life. Boundaries and borders well-defined and guidelines well spelled out. No risk, no surprises, no excitement. And the person ends up trying nothing new, achieving nothing great, not realizing the personal strength and not experiencing the personal intervention of God in his life. We often forget this fact. A ship that is in the port is always safe. But that is not what the ships are made for. The life of Abraham is a great lesson of faith. Abraham was asked by God to leave his place, Ur, but not knowing where to go, what to do, and whom to meet, where to take shelter, and how far to go, still he decided to take the risk of obeying God and moving on. Contrary to the promises that was made to him by God about his sons and daughters, he was asked of his only son Isaac to be sacrificed. Again, he decides to take the risk of obeying God and sacrificing his son Isaac to him. He was a great man of risk-taking faith. The Blessed Virgin Mary decided to take the risk of being the mother of Jesus, the Christ, not knowing the consequences, only because of her profound faith in God. And Joseph decided to take the risk of accepting Mary and the child Jesus, going all around and fleeing to the foreign land, not knowing what was happening, only because of his profound faith in God. And there are many personalities in the scriptures we can see who have taken high risk only because of their faith in God, even when they did not know, did not understand what was happening and the consequences of the risk. And we have the men in today's gospel, the friend of the paralytic man. They had to take their friend to Christ. And that was a big challenge because the house was full, a big crowd was around Christ, and everyone was trying to reach to Christ to be touched and be healed. And that's where they take the risk, climbing the top of the house, removing the tiles and lowering their friend to Christ. Because their only intention was to reach their friend to Jesus, that he be healed. Not knowing how would the crowd react and how would Jesus himself react. They wanted to reach their friend to Christ and be healed. And their risk-taking faith is being rewarded by Christ with a bonus, because they expected their friend just to be healed physically. But Jesus forgives his sins that caused his sickness. No matter how you come, what matters is that you come to Jesus, and your risk-taking faith be an inspiration for many to come to Jesus. Faith brings one to Christ, and Christ forgives, and forgiveness heals. The sins of that man made him a paralytic, but the faith of his friends brought him to Christ. And Christ forgave him and healed him and made him whole. There are lots of people around the world living in tough and difficult conditions, still taking high risk to live their faith, even when they had to face some severe tortures and inhuman and cruel persecutions. Because true faith takes a risk. My dear friend, How about you? Are you like a ship that stays most comfortably in the port, or like a ship that sails through the ocean, facing all various conditions of the ocean and the weather? The willingness to take risk is our grasp of faith. May the touch of Jesus redeem us. Amen.